I mentioned before that the Nord Stream 2 pipeline being built between Russia and Germany and by Russian and German companies would continue to be a pivotal issue. And it's not really a controversy between Russia and Germany. Both countries are going to benefit greatly from this. Obviously, Russia is going to make a lot of money selling hydrocarbons to Germany and to the other countries that gas is going to be distributed to in Western Germany. And of course, Germany benefits. They benefit by having the pipeline leading directly into their country. Their companies are involved in the project. They're making money that way. And of course, the project is going to enhance energy security for Western Europe because it's a pipeline going directly from Russia to Western Europe. There are no countries in between that the US can destabilize and then disrupt the flow of hydrocarbons. So this is a good deal all around for Russia and Western Europe and Germany in particular. But of course, the US is determined to block the completion of this project and make everyone suffer who is involved in it. And this is from Russian state media, Russian news agency TASS. German company Bilfinger SE withdraws from Nord Stream 2 project, report says. And this is a result of US sanctions targeting German companies and also Russian companies. But I think Russian companies are resigned to that fate. It's German companies that are worried because when the US puts sanctions on your company, not only are they blocking American companies from doing any business with you, but they will seize your assets, any assets that you have in the US. And if you travel abroad and any country decides to arrest you and hand you over to the US, you can get in trouble for violating those sanctions. So it's very heavy-handed, and the U.S. is now using these. They were using these tactics against Russia, China, Iran, North Korea. Now they're using these tactics on their own supposed allies, like Germany, companies in Germany, and an extreme example of what happens if you violate these sanctions is the Huawei executive who was arrested in Canada, and she's still stuck in Canada. I don't believe she's been able to get back to China yet. And that was because she supposedly violated sanctions the US put on Iran. And you could say, well, a country can decide who to do business with and who not to, but the US is also trying to arrest people and seize assets, and that seems to be a little extreme. And of course, the US is claiming that the Nord Stream 2 pipeline is a threat to Europe's energy security. And this is the US determining this for Europe. Europe clearly doesn't see it that way. That's why they're building the Nord Stream 2 pipeline with Russia and plan to operate and benefit from it. The US, and they're doing this through a legal framework called Countering America's Adversaries Through Sanctions Act. And really what this is about is just waging economic warfare on Russia and anyone who's working with Russia. This has nothing to do with Europe's energy security. If anything, blocking the construction of this pipeline undermines Europe's energy security. One other thing that I think is worth pointing out is this part of the article where it says, in Germany, they consider US extraterritorial sanctions illegal. And then there's a German federal state that established a special foundation to support Nord Stream 2 contractors and to protect them against US sanctions. And guess who in Germany is criticizing this and trying to obstruct this? Of course, it's Germany's Green Party. And if you're one of my Thai members of my audience, you'll remember it's the Green Party who helped attack the Thai monarchy here in Thailand not that long ago. And it's the German Green Party through Henrik Boll's foundation that funds political sedition here in Thailand. So Germany has a problem, and that problem is this green political party they have there. It's obviously working hand in hand with US special interests, not only involved in, political sedition abroad, interfering in other countries, but it's also undermining Germany's own best interests. So I thought that was also worth pointing out. And so I just wanted to give you an update on what's going on with Nord Stream 2. Now, Trump is leaving, Biden is coming in, and if you think that this is a breath of fresh air coming into the White House and U.S. foreign and domestic policy, think again. I can guarantee you, I will bet you anything that Biden continues this Nord Stream 2 scheme that the U.S. has been working on for a long time to sabotage this pipeline. And as it gets closer and closer to completion, and as Russia and Germany find ways around these sanctions, the pressure is going to get heavier and heavier and heavier. And I think we will see some provocations and some spectacular stunts pulled to try to sabotage this pipeline. Remember Alexei Navalny being poisoned by Novichok in Russia, and then a shadowy NGO plopping him right in the middle of Germany for treatment, with the US berating Germany for continuing this pipeline after they accuse Russia of poisoning Navalny. And it was very obvious what the US was doing, and I expect we'll see more stunts like this in the future. Now, if you're one of these people who actually believe there's some sort of difference between Trump and Biden, and you believe anything the mainstream media was saying about Trump, well, Trump was sympathetic to Russia, and yet he was still doing all of these things to sabotage Russia, to sabotage US-Russian ties, and to disrupt and destroy ties between Russia and countries in Western Europe. And all of this was happening while US forces were backing militants in Syria who were fighting and also occasionally killing Russian troops in Syria. So keep all of that in mind. There is one agenda. The US has been determined to, contain Russia since the end of World War II. And this has been an ongoing thing for decades. And this has nothing to do with who's sitting in the White House. It has to do with the giant monopolies sitting on Wall Street and their determination to uphold their monopolies, not only over all things economic and financial in the United States, but globally. So as Russia and China kind of slip out from under the shadow of Wall Street, we're going to see this sort of pressure continue to build. And keep an eye on Nord Stream 2. I'm going to keep an eye on it. I'm going to give you updates in these daily news videos. If you thought this video was useful, please like and share it. Think about subscribing to my channel. It helps the channel grow, and I greatly appreciate that. To my Patreon patrons who make these videos possible every day, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Check the video description below if you're interested in helping me support my work month to month, like through Patreon. And to everyone everywhere helping in absolutely every way, thank you so much. I couldn't do it without that support. And as always, thank you for watching.